This is an HP 110243W. And the topic of today's video is why you shouldn't go to Walmart, Best Buy, wherever, Office Depot, and buy a computer like this. Even if you need an office computer, you should build your own. And I wanted to make this video because this is a perfect example of a computer that is not repair friendly. So we're going to take the side panel off here. So pretty much the only things that are really serviceable in this computer is the hard drive, which has, I replaced this a few years back when the original went bad, and the RAM. Everything else is proprietary. Maybe this fan here at the back, this exhaust fan, that's probably maybe an 80mm fan, but everything else is proprietary, and I'm going to unhook it and show you guys. A lot of this is supposed to come off of a power supply, which, as you can see, there's no power supply in here because this computer actually uses kind of a laptop style power cord. So to get power, it's just this connector right there, and there's a power brick, which I do not like. So that's the first kind of non-repair friendly thing about this computer is if anything ever happens to this port, which it will eventually, you'll have to just replace the entire board inside, which would cost more than if this computer, and it clearly has room for a power supply up here. I think they could have fit, you know, a standard power supply right here and put some vent holes on the back with your screw holes around the side there for a power supply. Well, I guess the SATA cables are pretty standard. You know, the SATA cable coming off of the hard drive there. You can't really make a SATA cable proprietary, but the SATA power, the 15 pin that gives, you know, your hard drive power, as well as like maybe if you put an SSD in here. Just look at this. Normally this connector would come off of a power supply, but since HP and other makers are guilty of this, but since HP went with kind of a connector that is directly on the motherboard, this connects to a 3-pin, no, it looks like a 4-pin, off of the motherboard to power not only your hard drive or SSD or whatever, but it's the same case for the DVD drive. If we reach in here and unplug that, it's the same kind of connector, proprietary. So if something ever happens to these, guess what? You're either going to have to call HP or source it on eBay, when this computer could have just had a standard power supply with these SATA power branching off of it. Also, if you look down in here, this little tiny fan, this CPU cooler, this is a non-socketed CPU. It's actually soldered to the motherboard, so definitely not upgrade friendly either. You're just stuck with this CPU that this computer happens to come with. And even something like the power switch, which is typically, you know, you've got your power switch, your reset switch that are separate. This is all in one wiring harness, which is also not standard. So pretty much if something were to happen to this motherboard, you've got to replace it with this one exactly. And I haven't measured the motherboard, but I'm pretty sure it's not any sort of standard like ITX, or it's definitely not micro ATX. And it looks too big to be ITX. Maybe, it might be ITX, but this is more or less meant to be like an office computer or something to like browse the web. It's pretty slow at that. That's why I replaced this PC with an older Dell Optiplex for my dad, and it is much faster. So it's definitely not upgrade friendly, it's not repair friendly, and I highly encourage anyone who's watching this, even if you need a basic computer for browsing the web, maybe for a family member, watching YouTube, checking email, whatever, build your own PC. It'll be worth it in the long run because you can use standard parts and replace those parts when they do go bad. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, let me know down in the comments. Do me a favor, most of you watching aren't subscribed. Scroll down a little bit on your phone, hit subscribe, it's free. You don't want to miss out on future content. Also, teaser for a next video, I may be working on an older Dell Alienware, so definitely hit subscribe. You don't want to miss that video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.